So I'm back today for part 2 of how to activate the surface and how to build story within your paintings. You remember yesterday's video, I showed you how I collaged into those boards. They were very busy. I needed to bring in some areas of rest and of space and just some different surface texture and begin to build that up. So today I'm going to go back to those pieces and use some paint and some different tools and see what textures and interesting areas I can build into that and start to create more of that story. So I'm just going to head over to the desk again and get started. Okay, so I'm on my table here. This was the piece I was working on the other day. I've done the other 2 pieces as well. And I'm going to just begin work with this one. So I've got my paints all set out. And I'll show you the picture that I'm working on. So if I can keep the light off it. Okay, so this was the sketch I did on location. And it was down on the fringe of the estuary. And it's just a small copse of mangrove trees. And I'm sort of looking through them to the water and to the sky. And I was actually trying out some different colour palettes to see what would work, and what type of mood, what type of emotion, what feeling I would get using different types of palettes. So you can see here, there's some markings in here that I really like. There's a few more over here, and I can bring those out in these 3 paintings. I've also got the lines there, like the roots of the mangroves and the stems, and through the sky, just as I was standing watching, there was just butterflies, little butterflies flitting past. So I tried to create the movement of them. So I'm kind of be referring back to this, but not so much at this stage, because I just want to build up the surface. I don't want to get caught up in composition or anything like that. I just want to build up the surface. So the paints that I've got here today, I've got the Naples yellow, which I love. I'm using ultramarine blue. This is a light blue violet, which is actually ultramarine blue with some white in it. I may or may not use that. It is one of my favorite colors, but I might not use it in this one. I've also got some black, just for mixing some darks. And I've got a few yellows here. So the Australian yellow green, just a lemon yellow, and Marigold, which is a transparent warm yellow. It's very nice, but I may use it and I may not, I'm not sure. I've got a couple of pastels which I can put onto the surface and then use the white paint to get some color and to mix just that subtle color up here. It's like a bit of a tangerine color. And I've got a couple of woodies just in my colors, and a couple of Inktense. You can use anything, you just use what you've got. So I do work in with soft pastels and other things as I'm building up the layers. I've got a few tools here. So this is a stumpy, just cut off cheap brush. I got that idea from the artist Lewis Noble. He uses something like this in his work. Just creates really nice texture. You don't want anything too, sort of soft. You just want some good texture and marks, brush marks. It's the same with this one. Just a little cheap brush I've cut down. I've got a toothbrush, bit of scratching, bit of flicking, a nice palette knife, and an old basting brush, which I thought I might get some interesting marks with that. We'll see how we go. I've also got a razor blade, just for scraping back in, and I've got a bit of charcoal. Might use it, might not. Also got my spray bottle, of course white paint, which I forgot to mention. And I've got a few containers here because I might need to mix up some larger amounts of a particular colour, and I don't want to run out when I'm working on 3 different boards. So I'm going to get started. Just got a white plate as a palette. And so I'm going to get started, and I'll just begin with some of the light colours and see what I can work in here. So if you see here, these white patches are actually the board where there's no paint. It's just the gesso. And so I want to really build up some surface on them. I want to be able to scratch back in and be able to see the layers that are underneath. So I'm going to start that. I'll start off with some lights, but I'm going to use some blue. I've got a bit of white down here. Ultramarine blue. Not thinking about composition or anything at this stage. It's way too early for that. If you start thinking about those things too early, it will hold up your chance to sort of experiment, because you'll be stuck in those thoughts. So I just went off air then and just mixed up a bit more of this colour and put it in a tub. I can add more white or a bit of tiny spot of black to make a bit of a grey to it. Now I'm just using this brush just to create really interesting, you see those brush marks? Just to create some brush marks that will grab. If I go in later and I maybe I want to put some inks in or something like that, they'll just run really nicely through that. I can create a bit of direction with that. I have to watch it when I'm filming that I don't rush this process. It can be really tempting when you're filming to kind of hurry things. So occasionally I just go off camera and do a bit and then come back on. Okay, so what am I doing now? Okay. So I'm going to create a bit of line and mark through here. All this is going to be covered in other layers and then scrape back in. Trying to take my mind back as well to where I was and what I was feeling when I was down at the estuary. Trying to capture this moment. What I love about painting this way is you can just let your intuition flow. Sorry, I was just having a gulp of tea. Put a little bit of loose charcoal in. This is compressed charcoal. It's quite dark, but I really like to have some areas of grey in my pieces. I tend to use some like quite saturated colour, and you just need to offset it with those greys, and just mixing a bit of charcoal in. Use anything you've got, you know, like I'm thinking, well, thinking about the mangroves and the root systems, which if you know mangroves, they're quite amazing. Such an important part of our water systems and oceans, the mangroves. Put that to the side for the minute, and I'll bring in one of the other pieces, do a little bit on that. It's good to have more than one going at a time. Stops you sort of getting too precious about things. And when you get precious about a painting, it's when you stop exploring. You've got to be brave. Oops, oh, brother. Whoops. That didn't work, did it? Really nice blues and that in this. Let me think. I've got this runny blue black here. Yeah. Might have overdone it, just maybe. So let's just see what happens. I have to watch when I do this because it always ends up going everywhere. Got it all over my iPad and everything the other day. When you do this, you sort of get some interesting reaction between the, you see around here, just how it begins to flow through that paint. It's different viscosities, I guess. Yeah. Okay, let's just have a look. Yeah, I'm just playing, you know. I'm just experimenting a bit here. This will be under layers. This will be under lots of layers. Okay, I need a bit of a paper towel. Not to get too wet. Okay. All right, so that one can move over there for a bit because now it needs to dry, and we'll bring this one back. I'm going to do a little bit of black in this. Let me just see if I can just it's coming out a little bit runny. Okay, here we go again. Oh gosh, black paint going everywhere, look at it. Well, making a mess is part of the fun. I'm just going to see what happens if I just spray a finer spray on here. It's come out way too thick, so you'll see that I prepared for this. That's why I had the towel here. It's everywhere, black paint everywhere. But you can see the brush strokes in that here. You see the scratch marks into it. The things that I can work with a bit later on. I don't like them, I just paint over them. It's no big deal. Okay, so I'm going to do a bit more painting and I'm going to speed it up and then come back to you. Okay, so I've done a bit of work on this third one, and oops, whoops, sorry, keep the thing on. Okay, and you can see where the black is, and I've ran the water on it. It's very wet. I've just done it. But it's interesting, on the third piece, I've become a lot bolder. I've become a lot more brave, and I've got a bit heavier with the dark, with the bluey black, and I've let it run. All these lines will come up through the layers, and just add movement and direction through it. But some really delicious looking brush marks and that here, where the black is settling into that green. And I moved this because it was right in the center, so I moved it and spread it around a bit so it wouldn't become one of those bullseyes. So these are going to have to dry. This is the other one. It's got some nice drips there. The water's still moving on the surface, so they'll need to go outside and dry for a bit. And this is I think this is the one I started with, and you'll see what I mean, how if you compare that one to this one, now this one is a lot stronger. I've warmed up, and that's why it's good to have more than one piece going at a time. But they're not anywhere near finished yet, lots more layers to come. So I'll let